If you struggle with discipline or motivation and you're ready to transform your life, this video is for you. You have way too much potential to just be sitting there and letting your mind be the thing that's holding you back. You're truly the hero of your own journey. I hope that through my experiences and the way I think about things, I can help you find your spark and be the guide that leads you to achieve what you could have never thought possible.
For context, I was a Caltech chemical engineer grad where my first job out of college was in business management consulting. There, I made YouTube videos on the side until I was able to turn my passion into a full-time job. And now I've made over 300 long-form videos on YouTube alone, and I've accumulated over 1 million followers across multiple platforms. I help ambitious people like you build the life you keep promising you'll start by showing you how to become the CEO of your own life.
People always ask me how I stay so disciplined, how I'm constantly motivated. I believe that what a lot of people are missing is having the fire to work hard and achieve our dreams. People rely way too much on motivation. Motivation is a desire that comes from extrinsic factors. You only want to work hard and achieve this because of societal expectations, or you're motivated because you see some famous person or a book author achieve certain things. So you watch those motivational videos, kind of putting yourself in the idea that like,
oh my gosh, I'm so pumped up, I can do this.
You might be pumped up, but that is a temporary spark where that fire cannot be sustained because it's only a feeling. And when you rely on motivation, discipline is also much harder because you think that in discipline, you're forcing yourself to do something. And it's hard to do something when you don't feel like it. Feel like it is the emotion. It's like you will only work if you feel motivated. Since we cannot always feel motivated, the next thing we turn to is discipline. A lot of people say discipline is more important than motivation. But to me, discipline sounds really hard. The connotation is that we're forcing ourselves to do something when we don't feel like it. People call me a disciplined person, but funny enough, I actually don't think of myself as disciplined. I actually find doing the productive thing to be relatively easy, and it's all a mindset shift. It's reframing what discipline really is. Instead of discipline being force, discipline is actually clarity of what you want. Because when you want something so deeply and so intrinsically, you have certain values and priorities. In this moment of deciding whether to be productive or to spend more time on your phone, why would you choose anything other than the option that gets you closer to your goal? Phone, computer, video games, social media, these are all distractions away from you reaching your greater purpose. When you want to do something so badly, then your logic trumps your emotions. This intrinsic motivation, this deep desire, is called drive. And drive is something that you own. It's only something that you can define for yourself. When you find your drive, you are asking yourself, why? Why do I want to do this thing? Well, we're in hard economic times right now, and I want to be able to eventually support a family, and I want to have financial freedom and buy the things I want, do the things I want to do. Maybe even further, why that? Well, because I only have one life. I want to make the most of my potential and live the fullest life I can. Okay, so that's a very deep why. And that could be different for everyone. It could be like you want to retire your parents. Maybe you had some kind of childhood trauma that makes you want a certain thing more than other people. But it's very unique to yourself is the overall point. I also get this question of how do you constantly think of your why? Like, is this something explicit that you're constantly telling yourself so you have the drive to be productive? The answer is actually no. I'm not constantly like explicitly,
I want to make enough money to make my parents comfortable and to treat them with things that they could never buy themselves.
I might think back to my why, and in particular, a strong memory of perhaps my parents helping me. That will kind of get me back into the time when I made this my why. And so that will help me get back into the zone and make the right decision. When we're in a slump and not used to making productive decisions, the first time you do that might be a little hard, but each time you do that right choice over and over again, it'll become easier and like a habit. And that's when discipline kind of becomes a habit. If you're anything like me, you've set big goals, but the execution part is what trips you up. We all know what to do, but doing it consistently, that's the hard part. A few years ago, I was working a job I hated, feeling stuck and directionless, but once I started using the same system that helped me build this channel and my dream life, everything changed. That exact system is now built into my new app, Exec, which turns your intention into action. It guides you every day to cut what doesn't serve you, execute with focus, and optimize through reflection, all in one place. A personalized life coach right in your pocket. You'll get a personalized plan for your health, wealth, like financial and career goals, relationships, and personal fulfillment, along with daily coaching to keep you consistent, all trained on my own advice and content across hundreds of my videos. So right at your fingertips, you can learn exactly the golden mindset or productivity you need in that moment to break through roadblocks. The app also prompts you to reflect and figure out things you never thought about before, so you improve fast. And there are other special secret features that you have to see. You can start free today. Just take the onboarding quiz and get your personalized execution plan. The link is right below in the description box. And right now you can get 20% off if you want to unlock the AI coach. This special offer is available all the way through Black Friday, November 28th this year. Know yourself, lead yourself, execute. Inspiration is also something that you need. Sometimes the why just seems so far down the road, right? Like if you're still in school, how can you be thinking all the time, I wanna get a good job in the future to support a family, right? That's kind of weird. Inspiration is also like you're taking things and making them your own. Like I might watch LiQWYD and her clothing line instead of being motivated to do something because she achieved something. Instead, I'm inspired. She has this potential and this idea and these unique characteristics that gave her this achievement. I also have unique potential and characteristics. I'm now inspired to use that to get my own achievement. I need to believe in the result to be giving my all, because I know that if I spend my time tonight working on my projects and working on my YouTube channel instead of watching TV, I know that will propel me farther and closer to my dream. Because why would you put all your effort into something if you don't truly believe it's gonna pay off? You kind of almost have to be what they call delulu these days. Hate that kind of slang. So weird. You have to believe in the impossible, even when nobody else thinks it's possible, because that's the only way in which these amazing things even came to be. Because what is possible at the end of the day? You don't know unless you try. And I think that's the amazing thing. Like, aren't you curious about what you can achieve when you try? You are so powerful. You have to believe that you can do anything you set your mind to. That's the way I thought. I knew that if I put my mind to it and if I decide concretely today, I'm gonna go for this, that's the moment when I'm gonna give my all. That's when the race begins. This is the exact same thinking that I had when I was considering trading as a potential job. Call me delusional because it's pretty hard to do, but I just knew that if I decide to do it, I can do it. And when I decide to do it, I'm gonna be putting my all. But I decided not to do it simply because I didn't think that the effort would be really worth it, because I don't think trading suited me anyway. When you have this confidence in yourself, the world just opens up to you. Like, you believe that anything is possible, so you can pick and choose almost what job you want. I knew that I could be a consultant, or I can be a trader. It's all up to if I decide to pursue consulting or if I decide to pursue trading, how much effort I put in. That's the kind of trust and confidence you need to build in yourself. Embody that. How do you build this trust in yourself? Start small. The reason you aren't confident is because you're not giving yourself a reason to be. You can say all the affirmations you want, but you won't actually believe it, nor will you embody it if there's no evidence to support you being confident. When someone lies to you, your trust in them is decreased. So when you lie to yourself, that gives you less trust in yourself. So you need to start small with being like,
I know that I procrastinate, but today I'm just gonna try and do one math problem earlier than I usually did.
Then you're like, hey, maybe I can do this. Maybe I do have the capability. So then you can go even bigger and bigger. When you fall and you get back up, you're pulling yourself back up, right? So that's also building trust. Another example of how powerful this confidence is. I was calling my friend the other day, my friend from high school. I told her, to everyone in our high school, I would be the last person they think would be a creator, a successful YouTuber. And she was like,
Yeah, I know, right?
I said that, but then I realized I am actually the first person I would think who could become a successful YouTuber. Who else has my determination to want something and just get it? Even though doing well on YouTube was so much harder than getting straight A's in high school, I believed that this is hard for everyone. So if it's hard for everyone and I have proven to myself before I can stand above the rest with my hard work, then I can also apply that here. YouTube is a lot harder than it seems. I was so lost and had my confidence shaken so many times throughout 2 years, posting video after video, 20, 40 hours of editing just to end up with 200, 300 views. When you do it enough, you become your own inspiration. At this point, because I have a bunch of proof from earlier in my life, I am inspired by that, and I have even more trust in myself that I can go on to achieve greater and greater things. When I admire someone the most, it's when they tell me about their journey. And it's when I hear about how they talked themselves out of dark places, how they overcame challenges. Like David Goggins, I admire him not just because he broke Guinness World Records, but I admire him so much because he started from the bottom, like 300 something pounds, and it took his own discipline and determination, even when he was poor, to become a Navy SEAL and train until he was extremely, extremely fit. Since that's what I admire, that's what I also prioritize myself having. That it's about having good traits and going after it day after day without focusing too much on the result, because the result technically is something we can't, directly control. There's factors like luck involved, but I have enough belief in myself that as long as I am focusing on the things I can control, that it's inevitable that something great, something amazing is gonna happen. It's not that I can naturally talk in front of a camera. It's not that I am so good at editing videos or I already know how to become a YouTuber. I was not known to be loud or outgoing or want to put myself out there. Me believing that I have a higher probability of success on YouTube, it's because I know that I have this huge growth mindset. If I have a goal, I'm gonna do everything in my power to get her done. I'm gonna find some way. Circling back, that corporate lingo, going back to discipline, I believe you will absolutely never regret taking a step in what you believe in. Because regardless of the result, you are going to gain something out of that. If you just sit at home all day on Netflix, nothing's happening in your life, right? You're not letting life happen to you. But if you take action, something is gonna happen. You're either gonna get a lesson which you can learn from, or you're going to achieve. Like either way, you just can't lose. It's scary to do the thing. It's uncomfortable to do the thing. But how scary is it to not know whether you could be achieving some part of your dream life? How uncomfortable is it to sit in the knowledge that you had all this potential and you didn't even try to use it? When you see successful people out there, that should not be discouragement to you. Comparison is the thief of joy. And I find myself doing that a lot too, where I compare myself to someone who achieved something and I have to take a step back and be like,
wait, I don't even want that thing. Like, that's not even my life.
We want to take everything and use it to our advantage. So if there's a successful person, use them as inspiration. Instead of just looking at their achievements, think about all the hard work that it took to get there. They might look like an overnight success, but I promise you it took years of grinding, being in the dark basement with no one knowing their name. It took years of that, unless they're a Nepo baby, but obviously we're not talking about them. For me, I'm proof to myself too that like hard work does pay off. You also need to believe in hard work. That's a key part of being driven and inspired. Music is a huge part of my life and making me happy. I would just play my favorite songs playlist really loud and I'd be visibly bopping my head and just like jamming out, just having a great time while doing my homework. Even now when I'm doing chores, I'm just singing my heart out because that makes me so happy. So it's those kinds of things where you know you love them and they can kind of bring you back to a state that you want to be in, because we're not always happy, we're not always energetic. I get down too. So find your version of what music is to me. First of all, I really want to stress about giving your all, because when you give your all, you will not really feel that bad about failing. It can hurt, of course. So for example, in Caltech, I tried out for a cappella and I thought I was a good singer, but apparently they didn't think so. And that really hurt me too, because I'm like, I think I'm pretty good. But that is when I let other people dictate how good I am. Instead of letting their rejection or their judgment showing me that I'm not good enough, I will try to take matters into my own hands. My sister and I, we created this singing YouTube channel where we do covers on there, and we grew it to 40,000 subscribers on our own. So that is something that also built my confidence, where like,
maybe you won't give me this validation per se, but I give myself validation. I will work on myself and do the things that I can control to still give myself a taste of what I wanted.
And that was to have my voice heard by more people. So I did that on my own through YouTube. That is having a strong internal locus of control. In being inspired, disciplined, driven, we're often looking forward, but I've been taking the time recently to stop and look backwards. Just last night, I came back from a creator event, and I find that every time I hang out with cool, kind people, my energy and my mood just increases dramatically. And I was like, wow, this is something that I dreamed of before. I can't take this for granted right now. And that led me to also remember how when I was a kid, like in elementary school, I would write my own stories. I would come up with my own worlds and write names for little buildings I'd make out of cardboard boxes. I would write this little sign that I tape up on my door saying, "Ask Amy." Like, ask Amy anything and she'll give you advice. Remembering that was like, wow, this little girl had these certain passions and interests that were kind of stifled when she was going through middle school and high school and trying to be the best version of normal. But this little girl would be so extremely proud and happy if she could see how far she's come. She would admire her older self so much. It's kind of using those big dreams that kids have and making them reality. I'm excited that I was able to do those desires justice, and that in wanting to live my fullest, my best life, I am not having any regrets, because I know that now at least I'm honoring who I am more. I'm fully aware that if I had stuck to the path of being a management consultant and been fully in the corporate world, I would regret it, because I'm not being who I really am. I'm not doing what that 7-year-old me would be very excited about. Be authentic, be yourself, and have more trust in what you want. You can't go wrong with that. You will be happy. You won't regret anything. Work might be hard, it might be a grind, but I know that I'm happy doing it, just like I was smiling to myself, thinking of my younger self, and now I'm also happy and smiling to my future self, knowing that this is only the beginning. We're gonna continue leveling up and up and up.
Remember to check out my new app, Exec, for free. Just start your onboarding plan and get your personalized execution strategy. And if unlocking all the other features is helpful to you, you can get 20% off from now all the way until November 28th. Winners don't wait for luck, they just do it no matter what. So take action now, your dream life will not build itself. You can try Exec for free with the link below.
I hope that this was helpful. I always love hearing your comments and feedback. And thanks so much. I will see you in the next one. Keep being you. You are awesome. Tell yourself that every day, but also have a reason to go with it, because I find that's the most effective way to affirm that you're awesome. You have to be like, oh, I'm awesome because blah. And then you will keep doing blah.